Winston Coyle, the crew chief, making a final check and giving an A-OK sign to the driver of the Castrol Olds, John Force. The rematch is something both drivers have been looking forward to. That's Mike Slover, formerly with Don Prudhomme. In his glory days of funny car racing, he's the head wrench on Jim Epler's Dodge Daytona. Right now, it is all up to the driver. There is nothing more the mechanics or crew chiefs can do to improve or detract from the performance of the race car. But the driver has total control of how quick he gets off the starting line. Concentration is the name of the game here. Force in. Now Epler's ready. John Force saved the best for last. 5:15 at 289 miles an hour. Great reaction time. He had the advantage off the starting line. He had the performance advantage by a long shot with a 5:27 time for Epler. His performance falling off just a little bit. Look at John Force in replay. Just driving away from Epler in the first few hundred feet of this quarter-mile course. Then at the finish line, there was no contest. A nice, clean run and the best of the day for Force. 5:15 takes home the funny car title. Steve?
Today was a day of paybacks for you, John Forrest. First Cruz Pedregon, now Jim Epler, and a 5:15 track record to top it off.
Really something, Steve. I feel great. I got to give credit to this Castrol GTX crew, Austin Coyle, and all these guys. And I tell you, I've been racing scared my whole life, and we just been getting whooped up by these old boys. And Coyle, he said, I'm going to lean on it, hang on to your shirt. She may be on fire, or maybe she'll run. But we're excited. I want to thank Castrol and Jolly Rancher Wax Shop, especially Oldsmobile. Gave us a car that'll run like that Dodge ran last year. And the Dorman people, I just want to welcome all in here because this is a great day.
John Force's first victory of the 1992 season. Look out, troops. The champ is on the move.
Pedregon trying for 3 consecutive victories in funny car racing. Cruz into the staging beams. Look out the window. Pedregon just drives away. And there is another new national record. 1/1000th of a second quicker than his time in round number 1, 5.076. At over 288 miles an hour. The McDonald's team celebrates as Cruz Pedregon wins his 3rd race in a row and adds even more to his Winston points total. Hoffman's time, a very respectable 5:26, but it was no contest. Off the starting line, Hoffman had an advantage of 11/1000ths of a second. And look, as they passed our camera position by a car length, Pedregon was in front and continued to extend that lead to the finish line where he won it convincingly. Let's go to the far end. Don Garlitz.
5:07 with a 6, Cruz, a new national record. 2 national records in the same day. What a deal.
The crew, they're the ones that do it. Obviously, our sponsor, McDonald's, I'm happy for them. Larry Miner, he's believed in me all this time, and I'm glad he's sticking with me. But we've got Lee Beard, Ed McCulloch, Larry Meyer. I mean, with talent like that around you, and the crew guys do a great job. Rick, Mike, Neff, Jason McCulloch does a great job on the clutch, Ed's son. And really owe it to them. You know, I've been steady and trying to do my job, but the crew are the people that really deserve the credit. And 5:07, we want to keep going.
You know, Brock, we haven't heard a lot of laughing and a lot of joking. John Force is so famous for that in our TV coverage. He's just deadly serious.
I think he is. I think that you're mentioning the fact that Hoffman has never been beaten in a final, and that Hoffman has come on so strong in the last 2 seasons after years and years and years of very limited success. I think John's really feeling the pressure, and I think he'd really like to put it on, Hal, to kind of quiet him down.
And don't forget that fire in Memphis. John Force has not forgotten that incident.
Oh, boy, who could? That will live with him forever. Al Hoffman, there's his end car. There's John Force's end car. Who will be the funny car champion of Lake Grand National Molson? We'll know in about 5 seconds. Force left first. Force had the advantage, maybe practicing on that little tree work. Then John Force has won here in Canada. The scene of his first ever victory some years ago. A 5:34 defeats a 5:42. Hoffman slowed to only 264 miles an hour. Maybe something wrong there. Don?
5:34. You had the thing tuned up. The track seemed to cool down a little bit, and she held it, Austin.
It's obvious you know how this game is played. Been doing it longer than me. Yeah, everything seems to be working well for us today. John's been driving his best. He had to save it to get us lane choice first round, and Bernie's being a big help to this team now that he's worked in here. And like I said a few rounds ago, I think we're on our way to our 3rd championship.
Congratulations again, Austin.
Brock? Well, Big, you can see right there is where John Force kissed goodbye to Al Hoffman's 2-race winning streak and his undefeated streak in finals. It was John Force all the way as he put it on Al Hoffman, who gave a good performance, perhaps something going wrong a little bit at the far end, and fire from Force's car does not hurt him. Let's go down to the winner.
Well, John, he's been beaten now.
Yeah, well, we finally did, and got to give credit to Coyle and Bernie and the TAC crew. They did their job, and it was a good old racetrack. It cooled down, the air got good, and this old heap just got out. She humped, she picked the front end up, she trucked down through there. I'm excited. I want to thank, I know we're live here, I want to thank Castrol and Jolly Rancher, Oldsmobile, the Wax Shop, Dorman, all my guys, Craftsman, Mallory, just for doing a good job, guys. You're great, and I love you. And we ain't dead from Memphis. We're just back and tougher and meaner.
Nobody ever thought you were dead. Brock?
I guarantee you anybody would be in trouble if the crew chief is looking for a 5-12. Austin Coyle's got to be knowing that the McDonald's team has loaded it up as the Castrol car trying to earn back some of the points that Pendragon took away at the recently completed Keystone Nationals just 2 weeks ago at Maple Grove, Pennsylvania. A great start for both drivers. And Force has got problems. It turns into a fireball. Pendragon wins, but Force has got his hands full, trying to stay away from Pendragon and keeping the car off the guardrail. John Force disappears into a cloud of smoke. The car skidding to a stop in the shutdown area. The blaze continuing, and the safety safari crew immediately on the scene, dousing the fire. Force getting out of the car. You see him coming out of the cloud of smoke as he begins to walk away. Up pulls the safety safari truck, and they are hosing him down. Just take a look at the fire suit and that helmet, jet black. Testimony to how hot it was inside that race car. Let's take a look again in instant replay and see if we can pick up what went wrong for Force. It was a great start. Actually, John had a very slight advantage off the starting line. They were locked together as they went down the quarter mile. By the time they had reached the halfway point, no driver had established a dominant position. Then the problem set in. First for Pendragon, the puffs of smoke coming out of the car, then a flash of flame. But for Force, the fire went out of the headers and started underneath the car. It continued to burn into the shutdown area. Pendragon had crossed the finish line, the winner, while Force was just battling to keep this car straight down his lane. And he did a remarkable job, considering the right rear tire blew from the heat. He brought the car to as safe a stop as possible and is with Steve right now.
You okay, my friend? You all right, John?
Yeah, except I lost.
Well, you did indeed, but you did a great job of getting this thing stopped and off the wall.
Had him covered, never saw him, 800 feet or so. Thought, hey, here we go. We're on the way to that championship, but we welded our old hound dog. I told you we would.
You did.
We either win it or we'd do it. But my safety features, the stuff on board, kept the fire off me. And just to Castrol and all my people at Oldsmobile and Jolly Rancher, I love you. We did our best. We ain't out of the points deal. We're just moving on to Dallas. That's all. If we lost, I don't even know why.
You're a brave man, John.
Another incredible experience for John Force as he talks with Austin Coyle and Bernie Federley. Now Steve is caught up with Cruz Pendragon.
Well, Cruz, sorry we're late for the victory celebration, but we were sidetracked, as you might know. John's okay.
Well, I'm glad he's okay because, you know, he came by me a ball of fire, and, you know, we almost came together, but I don't know what to say. You know, he's as great a champion as he is. You know, we had our hands full with him. We knew he's been running good all weekend, but we were in for a tough race. I saw him all the way.
And you broke on that run.
Yeah, we broke a rear end or something. The car was nosing over about 1,000 foot, but we're happy we won.
4 in a row.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Hey, we call
Dale Worsham, an underdog last year, and he whipped Mark Oswald in the final round. Maybe we ought to get off of that. All right, here we go. Pre-stage, both drivers taking their time, getting positioned perfectly on the starting line. It is Etchell winning the Summer Nationals for the second time in 3 years in a 5:24, 279 miles an hour to Dale Worsham's game, but short 5:45. Let's have one more look, Big Daddy. It was pretty even right off the mark.
Yes, it was. Dale Worsham might have taken a slight starting line advantage, but it wasn't enough to see with the naked eye. But from there on, it was Chuck Etchels. He began to gain a little bit in the initial start of the race and began to pull away as the cars reached the half track. And then the power of the Etchels motor came on strong and drove completely away.
That one hole shot today, though, made all the difference.
Well, I can't really take all the credit for that. I was really just on time. Cruz was real late. Maybe he saw McCulloch's red light in front of him or something. It scared him. I don't know. But you need to catch a break to win these races. And being a New Jersey race, nobody beats the Wiz, Mother's Performance, Mopar Performance, Super Winch, Kendall Motor Oil, Snap-on Tools. I mean,
that's the whole litany. Congratulations.
That's the whole litany, Steve, and thanks. That gets us even for being short 2 years ago.
We're still making up for that.
Thanks.
Sometimes you have to have a better memory for the list of sponsors than you do on how to drive the car.
How true.
We're inside the car, our onboard camera, looking at Al's wife, Helen, as she directs him into the proper spot on that racetrack. His competition, the Oldsmobile-bodied entry of Paul Smith. Smith questing after his first ever NHRA national event title. Thus far this season, Hoffman has been a winner twice. And with every round, victory draws him even closer to the points leader in the Winston chase. Both cars set. Hoffman driving his way through the quarter mile to victory. His elapsed time, 5:26 at 280. Paul Smith definitely made a race of it. Very consistent at a 5:35, 264-mile-an-hour charge. But this day was all Hoffman. Watch the car in the far lane. The reaction time war was won by Smith, but it made little difference as the performance was definitely Hoffman's. That 5:26 gave a margin of victory of 64 thousandths of a second at the finish line, and that's a lot when you measure it in terms of feet. More than a car length, Hoffman the champion.
Al, a flawless performance all day. Congratulations.
What a run on that run.
26.
Yeah, that's just what we were shooting, boy. Tommy hits it right on the head all the time. He's just incredible. The BDS Dodge Daytona just did it again. And I'd like to thank all my sponsors, Pennzoil, Mr. Gasket. I mean, everybody has just been backed us up 100% on this deal. And maybe we can start paying a little bit back to them, getting some coverage for them. My wife, Helen, Jeremy Lindsay, Brian McDermott. You know, I don't ever want to lose them guys because I think they're the best in business. We just did that motor deal in 45 minutes and had it running again. So I'm pretty happy with the way everything's gone this weekend.
Give yourself a pat on the back, too.
Thanks.
That's Larry Meyer, the very talented crew chief on the Pendragon-driven McDonald's Oldsmobile. Meyer is given credit for really bringing some performance consistency to this race car. For force and the Castrol Olds of victory here would add yet 200 more points to the spread between he and Pendragon in that very important points chase. For Cruz, reality must take over fairly soon. He has got to start earning more points than force at these races. There are 7 left after this one. Tremendous job by Pendragon, and something goes wrong. It is the Castrol car of John Force, the victor. What a shocker. As Pendragon had a giant lead, and at about the 1,000-foot mark, the car absolutely came to a halt. Let's watch again in replay, and you can see Force got a very slight advantage at the starting line. But watch the car in the far lane. Pendragon began to make his move, and the red and white golden arches just sped away from Force. Look at the lead that Pendragon had. Then, right at that point, you see the raw fuel starting to come out of the engine. and that's what gave Force the opportunity to come around.
Boy, what was going on there, John?
I don't even know, Steve. I don't know. I didn't even know. He says I won. I don't even know. I mean, I'm seeing the big M all the way down to this whole heap is flying, and all of a sudden he's out of it. And well, it's okay then. We did it. That's it. It's a payday. Here's fine.
Motor went away on his car, it looked like, John.
Yeah, well,
you were in trouble, buddy.
They turned up their grill, and that's the way it is. We play strategy, and strategy wins drag races. And I want to give credit to Austin Coyle and Bernie Federley and this great race team here. And a matter of fact, I want to thank some people. Castro, they know their stuff's good. O's know they're good. Jolly Rancher, Whack Chop, Dorman, Craftsman, and especially Autolite because it's their race. And let's not forget my friends while I'm here, because I never do, and that's my teammate, Gary Ornsby, and we still miss you, and we love you. And I've heard more about him today from fans. We never forget. And we won the big money deal.
And a whole lot of points towards a third championship.
Well, he says he needs the record. Austin said it earlier because it's worth 200 points. And 50 points because that also would be the low elapsed time of the event. But you have to leave the race with a record at below ET. You can't sit at the mid-round and have somebody better it. But, of course, this is the final race. In funny car, Cruz Pedregon and John Force. Everyone here is on their feet. Pedregon smokes the tires. Force has smoked the tires. Force may have hit the wall. For sure he's hit the wall. Here comes Pedregon. And it is Pedregon. His crew cannot see through all the tire smoke. Neither can Force's crew to tell exactly what has happened. Technically, this race was over when Force tagged the wall. That would have disqualified him, but why ruin a good story? Might as well call it all the way to the line. Pedregon got there first no matter what, Brock.
Unbelievable. It looked like a demo derby, a short track stock car race or whatever. As we watch Pedregon immediately go up in smoke, he veers off course, and look at Force. He is out of control as well. He fishtails a little bit there, and as you said, as we can see from this other angle, Force heads for the fence, but gets on the throttle on and off. There, he whacks the wall, and that instantly disqualifies him, but John Force does not quit. As you can see, the throttle on and off with the flame pouring out of the pipes. You can see Pedregon in the other lane, also on and off the throttle, up and down on the RPM range, and he wins it by half a car length. What a race.
Well, Brock, down here at the far end, I can still hear the fans screaming. It wasn't quick, it wasn't fast, but what a show.
Steve, it wasn't pretty, but we won, you know.
Describe it.
Well, our car blew the tires off. We overpowered the track. We were wanting to set the national record in the final round, and, you know, we just overpowered the track, and I felt it go away, and I thought, oh, it's over. Then I looked over, and I saw John having trouble, so I just did everything I could. Throttle on, brake. I was out of control, but I didn't hit a wall across center line, and we got there first. We won. Doesn't matter how, but we won.
Were you even watching Force, or did you care? You had your own problems.
Well, once I saw he was having trouble, I was on a mission to get to the finish line first. And you know, these cars, if you smoke the tires early, the momentum's not there. So pedaling is, I would only do that in that situation, the qualifying run or something like that. You take a chance breaking a drive shaft or hitting the wall. But yeah, once I saw him have a problem, I just went. I said, get to the finish line however you can.
You earned your driving stripes today, believe me, young man.
Well, I got to keep up with the crew. I have the best crew, McDonald's, Larry Miner, Coca-Cola, Vintage Design. We couldn't be happier.
All right, let's go back to Brock.
In the far lane, Del Worsham knows that he's going to have to come up with about a 1/10 of a second improvement in his performance. Based on the semifinal round, John Force with a 5:22 picks his lane. The time 5:35 was the run by Worsham. Sitting on board with John Force, that's the view of the Christmas tree he has as he comes into the staging beams. Tremendous race at the finish line, just inches. John Force of the Castrolls takes the victory, 5:24 to a 5:25, nearly identical reaction times off the starting line. One incredibly close drag race. The total margin of victory only 13 thousandths of a second. In the near lane, Force. In the far lane, Worsham, and they battled this one out from the starting line to the finish line. There was no quarter given. It was literally in just the last few feet of this racetrack
that John Force was able to squeeze by and win it.
John Force, that may have been the closest drag race of your career. By thousands, you pulled it out.
You know, I'd like to feel better, Steve, but I just like that kid. He's good, he's tough, and hot damn, he raced me right into them lights. I thought neck and neck. I didn't know what he'd done. He did a job on me, I think, on the lights, what I did on them other guys.
I got to tell you, this thing was popping and banging all day, fire out of the pipes. I feared for you, man.
It's been doing that all weekend, Steve, but, you know, like I say, the money's put here to produce. We had to break a lot of parts, and I want to thank my people from the Wax Shop and Dorman and Oldsmobile especially, and Castro GTX on top, Jolly Rancher, and my guys, Austin Coyle and my crew, the attack team, and want to stay on top of it, trying to keep normal here. This was just a great weekend. It's my dance. Tell the kids, put water in the pool. We're coming home. The budget's back.
Yeah, and his wife may have to learn to do the lambada the way he's dancing.
There's always something new with John Force.
John, do you think there's any advantage here as far as the lanes are concerned this time of the day?
I certainly don't think so. I think that Mike Culver has just got to find a little performance.
And Austin Coyle, you can bet he's been in that blue room looking for it as well. Culver against Coyle. Epler against Force. The Epler daughters against the Force daughters. This has truly come down to a family feud. The Winter Nationals Funny Car Final. Mike Culver has wrenched Jim Epler to his first ever NHRA title, a 5:26 to a 5:32. Don Garlits is part of the starting line celebration.
This has got to be the Cinderella story of the entire event.
It is a Cinderella story. And you know, last year when we were running terrible, I wrote this tribute to Jim. I got it in the truck there. I'd love to read it, but I always felt he was a winner even when we weren't doing so well. So anyway, I don't know what to say. I'm so excited.
Well, he's a winner today.
He sure is.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Wow. Look at that replay. Look at it.
Susan Epler and the Epler crew celebrating his first ever NHRA win as we have an opportunity to look at it once again. That 5:26 for Epler.
Well, John Force took a starting line advantage, and it looked like his car moved out in front and was going to go for another win. But as he got down toward the end, the flames went out in his pipes, and it looked like he might have shut off a bit early, assuring Epler the win.
You still a little stunned here?
Well, I am. I mean, I had no idea I could get back go this far in eliminations, and to win the thing couldn't be happier.
Go hug those lovely twins of yours.
I will, thank you.
It's been a day of shockers, and the biggest surprise comes at the end of the day in the Funny Car Finals with Jim Epler upsetting John Force.